Here we go. This is the Friday support call. I'm Stephen Carlson, and our host this week and the first week of the year is Wai-Hin Chen. And so, Wai found the Sedona Method 17 years ago during a pre- and postpartum crisis, and she's been using it ever since. After 3 decades in healthcare, she's pivoted into full-time coaching as a certified coactive coach. And just let me use that as an invitation to introduce yourself further. What is a coactive coach?
Amazing. So first of all, thank you, Stephen, for making this forum possible. And thanks everybody else for showing up. Some of you I know, I've known you for years. Some of you are new to me. That's neither here nor there. So coactive coaching, it's the letters are CPCC, and it stands for Coactive Professional, like Certified Professional Coactive Coach. And it's with the CTI, which is the Coaches Training Institute. It's one of the OG coaching, personal development coaching organizations in the US. The process itself was a lot of fun. There's a lot of uncovering of my own stuff. And it's coactive, basically meaning that as a coach, I don't tell people what they need to do at all, but I ask a lot of questions because we're coactively discovering. And my job is really to hold that vessel for that person, for the client to show up and just discover themselves, find out what the answers are for themselves. A big foundational tenet is the idea that the client shows up naturally resourceful. They know exactly what they need to be doing, and we just have to peel back the layers with them. And then the other thing that we talk a lot about in coactive is little A and big A agenda, right? So the little A are things that, some people use the word like shadow work, little child, that kind of stuff, like the things that hold you back and get you to play small. And the big A in Sedona is the equivalent of the beingness, that amazing space that we know everything begins and ends in, right? So how do we move people from little A to big A agenda? That's what coactive is. And it's different than other coaching and also different from therapy in the sense that there isn't a lot of going back to what caused this or how are you here, but we acknowledge that everything that you've experienced is exactly right and exactly how you landed in the spot that you're in, right? And then the other thing is that it's coactive in the sense that we're co-creating, but we're co-creating by leaning on each other. So there isn't this, I'm a coach, I'm a facilitator, and you're no, it's like, how do we lean into each other to open up? So it's a lot of fun, and I really, really love it. Yeah. And on that note, if you do have any questions, you can find me on social media. I do have a website, it's myfullname.com. I offer a lot of pro bono calls. I probably shouldn't say that from a business sense, but I do because I feel very called that we're in this together. And anything I can help anybody unlock themselves to be what they are meant to be, I am feeling very privileged to be able to hold that space and be a witness for that, okay? For today, this is the Sedona Method. So we're going to be doing a lot of the Sedona Method. I can't promise that it's only going to be the Sedona Method because I don't show up like that. But I will do some self-management and stick to the processes as best as I can. Because it is the new year, I thought that maybe we could start with an open group release. And then after that, we'll go into taking your calls, your questions, your, openness to share your gains. Anything and everything is welcome here. Whatever you feel like saying, go ahead If you're shy and you want to type your question, I'm sure Stephen will be happy to, let us know about that as well. This is your space, so show up as you feel is right for you, right? On camera, off camera, typing, whatever. It's all good. Great. So group release, and then we'll take one-on-one. For the group release, could you all just take a moment and just acknowledge where you're at? If you're lying down, just notice where your body ends and where the outside world, starts, the surface that you're on. If you're walking around, same thing, just sort of notice what's around you and just be really present. Notice your breath, notice your thoughts, notice anything else that is coming through for you in this moment. And you're just going to be. And in that, we're going to look at this thing that just happened a few days ago where the calendar went from 2023 to 2024. One digit changed. And I know the one digit changing over has had a lot of impact. There's a lot of people who set new goals. There's some people who are resistant to setting new goals. There's sometimes excitement about the new year and what it will bring. Sometimes there's just, oh, fudge, right? Whatever it is, just be with it, notice it. And for some people, this is not the culturally relevant New Year, and that's fine too. Notice that we went from 2023 to 2024. And what does that bring up for you? Is there any resistance? Is there any excitement? Notice a moving towards the new year, and also notice any holding back, right? So notice the anticipation, and then notice I've got to protect myself. And whatever it is, just notice it for now. And could you give yourself a little bit more space to notice even more of the positive and the negatives? Notice what this changeover means or doesn't mean for you. And then notice if anything else is coming through for you, notice how it's showing up in your body. And see if you can pay attention to the sensations. A lot of us actually have a really hard time identifying the feelings, or we shut down when we are asked, pay attention to your feelings. So notice the sensations, and specifically the senses around what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste. And then for the rest of your body, what comes through when you are paying attention to your senses? What happens to your muscles? Is there like a tightening? Is there an openness? Is there bubbling? Is there sharp pain? Just notice what is here. Notice also the propensity to get out of the body, right? Some of us are like, I don't want to be in my body. I don't feel safe in my body. So I'm not going to go there. It's fine. Don't go there if you don't feel safe in your body. Just notice that, though. Connect to that thought. I don't feel safe in my body. And just notice where you go. With all of that, what else is coming up for you? What else is stirring up? Are there any thoughts? Notice, are they thoughts that are sort of positive, negative? Are they, pro the new year, against the new year? Are they excitement? Are they anxiety? Right? Just notice, and whatever comes up in thoughts, notice what the opposite of it is. And then connect with any thoughts that bring up stories and connect with the stories. Well, last year I set a bunch of New Year's resolution and blah, 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 blah. And then also notice any beliefs that come up. I'm getting old this year. I'm hitting a milestone this year. Any beliefs. Make room for that and just connect to it. On that belief front, notice if there's any unworthiness that is going to get judged, it's going to get worse, it's going to get better, it's going to get rid of in 2024. And so you've made room for your sensations, your thoughts, your stories, and your beliefs. And then now, could you just feel through those or notice through those, whatever that came up, and see if there's any wanting approval. It's just yes or no, right? You're just connecting to that. Is there any wanting control? Any wanting security? Or is there any wanting oneness? And just connect to that. And whatever the want is that allowed here? And if you can't allow it, just notice it. Okay? And also, could you notice how personal it all feels? Right? These are my feelings, my thoughts, my beliefs, my stories, my wants. There's a very strong sense of I, me, my. Just connect to that as best as you can. And while we're at it, also notice how the personal got influenced with everything else around you. Is it really yours? Is it ancestral? Is it societal? What influences? Notice that. And could you allow for that? And now here's the fun part. Could you let it all go? Everything that came up. Including any goals or any rejection of setting up any goals for the new year. Everything that came up, or everything that's being pushed back down, could you let it all go? You owe it to yourself to do a yes or no here, okay? There's some real neuroscience around that. Could you let it all go? Yes or no? Would you? Also, yes or no? And when? Now? Never? Or maybe something somewhere in between? Okay. Just notice what is here for you now. And if you can, just sort of rest, sit back into rest, into ease. And could that be enough? Is rest and ease allowed? Great. From there, I'll take your calls, your questions, your shares. Huh. I see here, I think Barbara. Um, there you go. Thank you. I think Stephen unmute you. So go ahead, Barbara.
So how do I say your name? Wai-Hin?
Way. Way is easy. You know, the right way,
Way.
the wrong
Okay.
way.
Highway. That was really sweet what you did. I had a release earlier with Binta and I was doing well, but I've been sick with bronchitis for about 11 days and it was holiday time and something that I ordered still didn't come since a month. And anyway, I got this job that I was supposedly starting this week, but then Wednesday it got canceled. We started today, and I have 3 days off now to still heal. And I was in the midst of talking to my girlfriend now, my childhood girlfriend. And just before this call, it made me so angry, and I got all really much more congested because she was saying, well, you know, in the USA, if you're sick a certain amount of time, you'll lose the job. And she was just giving me a hard time, you know, and I really want this job. And I've been doing everything alternative healing to get healthy, even paid for alternative healing. And she's saying, go to a doctor. And tomorrow's Saturday, and I'm taking medicine that the doctor had prescribed from last week. Yeah, and that all tensed me up now. I'm so angry because she's giving me such a hard time. I said, if I don't manage to get healthy by Monday, I have to tell the job I can't do it. I can't not breathe.
Okay,
you know?
Barbara,
Yeah,
I feel that there's a lot of storytelling here, right?
yeah.
There's a
So
lot,
I'm
there's a lot,
angry,
there's a
so I want
lot
to let
going on.
that go.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just like a wave of it. So just in this moment though, right? If you had to bottom line,
I
what
just
is
want to
it?
get rid of the anger. It's anger, and I think it's either control or approval.
Okay, let's start with your first one. The first one, I want to get rid of this anger. Can we
Yeah,
start there? Okay.
yes.
I encourage everybody to get in touch with the inner or outer, very real. I want to get rid of the anger. I mean, we're human beings. We have anger. Okay? Sometimes we're in touch with it, sometimes we're not. So we'll do a group release and then Barbara will come back to you. Okay.
Okay.
I want to get rid of this anger. It is relevant to everybody. And if you don't think it's relevant to you, bring back some world events and see how you feel about it. Question one, would you rather, like, what would you rather? Wanting to get rid of your anger or just getting rid of your anger? Do you want to keep wanting to get rid of your anger? And just listen to your inside voice. I want to get rid of this anger. Okay. Would I rather want to get rid of this anger or would I rather just get rid of it? Be very honest. Now we're going to drop into advantage and disadvantage of how anger shows up in our lives and serves in our lives. I invite you, I welcome you to be in touch with how anger feels, looks, thinks, and all the stories that anger invites up. It's a friend who told me this. In the US is this. I don't feel well. The minute I got anger, I had all these bodily sensations and symptoms. And then there's that, oh, the mind, notice your mind chasing that. Maybe it means this, maybe it means that. Okay? And just look at that anger. What is one advantage of that anger in terms of how it shows up in your life? And be honest, listen right in here. How is this anger an advantage? And then how is this anger a disadvantage? How is this anger an advantage? And how is this anger a disadvantage? And then just notice what is happening with that. And we'll go more general, a little bit more wider. How is anger an advantage? And how is anger a disadvantage? How is anger an advantage? And how is anger a disadvantage? And just notice what is happening with you, what is stirred up, what has opened up. And then could you allow yourself to rest in the space, in the love, in the peace and the freedom? And as you dip yourself into that expansiveness, how does anger appear? And is that okay? Is that allowed? Great. Barbara, how's that for you?
Yeah, it was sadness came up, you know.
Beautiful.
And there's a lot of wanting a lot of, I guess, approval from her, you know, I think. So
And that approval, and for anybody else in terms of how the changes happen, be present with what is here. Barbara, we're going to go a little bit more, and then I'll take Mary's call. So this wanting approval, could you welcome that?
yes, are you doing it as a group release now, or do you want me to say yes?
You can, whatever you feel like. How's that? I have asked everybody else to be in touch with whatever else that has come up. You know, for people who's wanting approval came up, we'll release with that. Otherwise, instead of wanting approval, you can replace it with whatever came up. Okay, but for you specifically, Barbara, you mentioned wanting approval. So could you welcome that wanting approval?
Yes.
Okay. Could you notice what else it's stirring up? And for you specifically, Barbara, notice how this wanting approval, how it shows up in the many stories that you might hold on to.
Can I ask you one question, Wei? I will never get approval from her, so I guess what I have to do is just
I didn't
totally
ask
let
you.
go.
I didn't ask you to want approval from her. Wanting approval came up.
No,
And
I'm asking you right now. I will never get approval from her. So should I just I think I should just focus on, I guess, and that's why I'm asking you, just to let it go, right? It probably would be the best for me, right? Because I know I'll never get approval on this situation with her, because I know her.
Okay, fantastic. Could we go? We can definitely go with that. Could you let go of wanting that approval from that specific person?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you also welcome never getting approval from her?
Yeah. That
Could
was
you
a good.
could you let go of wanting approval from her?
I'm gonna say yes to that, even though I feel a no.
Well, your the recommendation is always to be honest with yourself, and whatever answer comes from your heart, that's the answer that we want to be in touch with.
I know, but if I say no to myself, I get all congested again. So I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, so can you, whatever the answer is, okay? Could you also let go of never getting approval from her?
Yes.
Could you let go of wanting approval from her?
Yes.
Could you let go never getting approval from her?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Could we rest at that, Barbara?
Yes, that was really good. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're very welcome. Thank you for having the courage to speak up. I think Mary had her hand up next.
Yes, hi Wei. Those two releases already were just phenomenal and extremely helpful. I love that you mentioned the new year. I've done a teeny bit of releasing on that, but the other day I was doing some and the word resistance came up. I've had lots of problems, especially over the last 2 years, and I think, of course, I hoped that this year would be better. Um, I'm still but I still am finding myself resisting the health stuff that I'm going through, and also to the fear that this year won't get better, and then I'll have to keep dealing with the same stuff. And so those are my two. That's what's really coming up for me this morning, with especially after what we just released on, is I still feel very resistant to what I'm going through, and fear that things won't get any better this year.
Okay. I think it's fair to say that everybody has some resistance to to some degree. It's our human form, right? Like in terms of even just where we start and where the rest of the world, that's physics, right? It's resistance. And so for the rest of you, I am going to do a facilitation with Mary specifically, but pick a topic that's similar, that is around resistance for the coming year. What are you resisting for the coming year? Okay. And also this thing around, being afraid of, it's really all one, right? This fear of what I'm anticipating that is not going to get better. So I'm going to resist the year, right? Because I don't want what happened before to happen again. So pick a topic that's relevant to you. Mary, could you welcome that sense of resistance?
Yes.
Okay. And could you also welcome all the thoughts and the stories that came up around, I feel a lot of resistance for the coming year?
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly, yes. The resistance to the stories. I've done a little bit of work, thanks to all these other wonderful Sedona people, about. I'm just learning about the stories I'm telling myself. So yes, that feels, yeah, spot on.
Okay. So whatever stories have shown up around you resisting the coming year, are they welcomed here?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Okay. Yes or no? Let's keep it short. Okay. Let's just let's
Yeah.
give the brain, our neuroplasticity, the time to connect to a new way for decision making. Because let's remember, everybody, that we're in a human body. We have this thing called the brain. Yes, it's all a story, but this story serves, right? There's neuroscience around it, and the brain is a predictive machine. It looks for the past to see what's going to happen in the future. And as human beings, we do a lot of story making. So just notice that, okay? And is that story around resisting the new year? And every other stories that come up about your resistance for the new year, are those stories welcomed?
Yes.
Or no?
Yes, they are.
Yep. Okay, great. Could you also notice the pushing away of the stories?
Yes.
Okay. And is that pushing away of that story, is that welcomed?
Yes.
Okay. Could you also notice the propensity to make meaning about this story is important and it means this, this, and this? Could you notice that?
Oh, yes, very much so.
And is that process, that propensity, is that welcome?
Can you ask the question again, please?
It's okay. Could you notice the wanting to do something about the stories?
Yes.
Is that wanting to do something about it? Is that welcome?
Wanting to do something about the story, welcome.
Okay, that's not resonating. That's not resonating. That's okay. Let's drop that. Let's let that go.
Okay.
In this moment, could you notice what is here when we talk about resistance for the new year? What is here for you? And just experience it. Okay? No need to answer because that clearly brings you into your head. And I also called in your meaning-making machine, which is not great.
Okay.
So just notice. And I'm going to ask you to be with whatever comes up, and you don't need to respond to me unless you really want to.
Okay.
Yeah. So notice again what is here for you when you think about 2024. And notice the resistance that came up for you.
Uh-huh.
And then notice how that resistance is felt or experienced by Mary.
Mm-hmm.
What does it bring up? Okay, and then let's give it a bit of time to be experienced in the body. So take your time and just the felt sense. How does Mary experience this resistance? What comes through? What is present in the body? And whatever that came up, could you just notice it? That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And then could you also notice any wanting to do anything about it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Could you welcome that? The wanting to do something about it.
Yes, I could.
Could you welcome it some more?
Yes.
Even more.
Yes.
Even more.
Yes.
And whatever is left, could you let that go even more?
Yes.
Wonderful. What is here for you now?
I feel much more peaceful just about kind of what is.
Is that okay?
Yes, I believe it is. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And if you could at any moment know that you can just rest as that. So
Oh,
then,
really
yeah,
good.
let's lock it in. Will you allow yourself to rest as that?
Oh, yes, that feels really good. I love that.
Beautiful. You did the work, right? So there you go.
Thank you so much.
You. No, thank you. And thank you for, going with the flow. Okay, anyone else? Any questions? Any comments? Any games? Oh, there you go. We've got Marie Francois. Did I say that correctly? Please let me know if I didn't.
No. That's perfect. Thank you.
Fantastic. So what's up?
Maybe we could do a group. I'm off to an audition. If we could do like something about like expectations, like how do you? This is still a challenge for me to still really go for something and release outcomes and expectations. I'm not even sure you're supposed to do that. I don't know. Maybe it's the language. There's something in it that I get tripped up on. And I've never been able to do it. So I'm curious if I was able to do it, what would happen? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just willing to try,
Yeah, I mean, do we ever really know? Right?
No, because my mind always going, yeah, but no, you'd rather book it. No, always. That's always the answer. I never.
Yeah. Well,
I don't care.
So this is the thing, that we know about the brain is that it's always looking for an answer. And when we get the answer, it's a wrong answer anyways, because we're looking for a better answer. So we can chase the answer or just be, right?
Right.
Yeah, so let's just clear that out right away. It's totally human nature to look for a problem, to solve it, and then to look for better solutions. Period. Okay.
So if you want something, how is that looking for not want? Like if you're claiming it, which is more like Christian kind of fundamentals work language, but if you're claiming it or seeing it as already done, how is that not setting up an expectation? I don't
okay.
Figure it out.
Let's yes.
Stop
yes,
me.
yes,
Me.
yes.
Stop.
No, there's no stopping. You don't need to stop. The fact that you notice that I am trying to figure it out.
Yes.
Suddenly there's an I who wants you to notice that. So there's the answer, right? And then did you notice how even myself, I just demonstrated a problem and then ding, 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 you came up with a solution. And then there was immediately a self-judgment because I want to be better, right? That's just the loop that it is what it is. Okay. So could you welcome wanting to figure it out?
Yes.
And just notice this wanting to figure things out. How is it showing up for you?
Interesting.
Okay.
You want me to answer that or just...
Well, it's up to you.
It manifests as probably problems that I then judge myself for having, because I feel like
a surprise. Is it a surprise that you're trying to figure something out and a problem shows up for you to solve?
Wow, that is exactly what happened the last couple of days.
What do we tell our brain to serve us with? If we are spending time with our wanting to figure it out, what are we telling our brain? And this is, the Sedona Method doesn't explain it this way, but as a clinician, I can explain it this way.
We're
Okay?
telling, well, at least I'm telling my brain there's a problem somewhere.
Or go look for a problem.
Go look for a problem.
Right?
Or
If there
create
isn't
one.
a problem. That's right. And your brain will find you one. In whichever way, it will zero in to what is out there that is a problem, or it will create a problem for you.
Right.
And that problem could be anything. It could be suddenly you're overcome with an illness.
Yeah.
Okay. It could be I'm showing up to an audition and I don't have a voice suddenly. Or I've got, like, it will create a problem for you to solve.
Or what happened this week was they changed I saw the piece of paper and I don't know, I was tired and I don't know, I didn't look at it hard. And they changed my medical. And I spent yesterday having a big problem and having a very big emotion. And this morning, I remembered something Hale said. He said, if you can just say to yourself, maybe that I don't want to, I don't have to be, I can let go of being the one with this story or something like that. I can't remember now. And I just thought that. And I thought, okay, let's see what happens. The woman on the other line fixed it. She fixed it. She fixed it. And I calmed down. I didn't think it was going to work. I didn't even know what to really say. But I thought, this problem didn't have to happen. But yeah.
But it did. And then you solved it.
Yeah. But
or it got solved.
Someone it did. But I'm ready to move on from that level.
Okay. So we started our conversation with, a lot of what at retreats with Hale, we do this exercise of blah, 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 right? When it comes to storytelling. So there was a lot of that, right? There's a lot of words. And just so you know, when I'm facilitating people, I invite people to respond verbally, but that's not the critical part in facilitation. What's critical is for the individual to connect deeply with what is coming up as an experience. And sometimes the verbal response gets people into doingness, into I have to respond. And then for some people who have stage fright, like me, we get into self-judgment. So responses are not necessary for me, partly also because I can sense.
Okay.
I'm very open to that. So, but use your personal judgment, everybody else. Use your personal judgment about whether or not you need to output verbally, whether you need to output through movement, whether you need to output through writing, right? Be with yourself in a way that is meaningful to you. At the end of the day, though, are you allowing yourself to connect the dots in terms of where you're at and what is showing up for you? All right?
Yes.
I don't see any hands up. So, Marie-Francois, if you're okay with it, we'll go back to you. You started out with, audition, and then there's all these other things, and there was a letting go of wanting to figure it out. Right?
Yes.
There's a couple of aha moments for yourself. So congratulations on that. What is here for you now? What is the idea that you think that, we could talk about and help you with the audition maybe?
Okay. So I have issues around getting there because I don't have a car, and that's kind of complicated. And when I get in the room, I seem to feel okay when I'm at home, but then when I get there, I get, my brain starts to go, I start to compare other people in the room, or I just start to become ungrounded, uncentered. And I feel like that's affecting how I am when I'm doing the work in the camera, because I'm too self-conscious, and I didn't used to be. I'm not quite sure where it came from, but here it is. So all the talking in my head.
That's okay. All of that, the obstacle of how do I get there, and when I'm there, a lot of things happen. My goodness, some of us feel this even going grocery shopping, right? going like overwhelmed. So all of that, all of that, could you be with that right now? The story of getting there, being there, and doing there. Okay? Everything else that comes up with it, just let it all, just sort of like like it's almost like do a mental dump. Whatever comes through, just could you be with all of that? Could you let it all get stirred up?
Yes.
Okay. Even more. There's more there coming up. So don't hold back on this. I mean, you know, this is why, like, if you don't have to say, it's actually better if you don't say, because just let it just kind of get stirred up. Let that mud get, you know, everything else. Like, you know, the last time I was at an audition, you know, I this, and I wish this, and I wish that. Whatever got stirred up. Could it be here? Let it be here. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And notice what is happening in your direct experience as all of that is stirred up. What is happening here? What are some of the sensations? And just connect with them, okay? Stay present with them. What are the sensations? What happens with my body? What do I feel in my body? What are the tightnesses? You know, is there sort of like a need to move? And whatever it is, just notice it and just be with it. Notice if there's any sound that kind of come up or sort of ringing in the ears. Notice any changes or any input through your vision. Okay. Notice any smells. And notice the taste in your mouth. And then also notice any propensity to want to get out of your body, because I don't like feeling this way. I don't like experiencing this. Okay? But at the end of the day, our body is the way we experience the whole beingness. It's how we experience other people, other animals, plants, right? Notice that. Any wanting to get out of your body. And is that okay? Yes or no? Lock it in. Yes or no?
Oh. All this stuff.
Great. Fantastic. Amazing.
No. It makes me so self-conscious. And watching myself and watching them watching me, it's just, I'm not in the moment. I can't.
Okay. And so let's drudge up. That's subconsciousness. There's a me watching me and watching them watching me. And then there's a camera that, you know, is watching me, right?
Yes, every little thing.
There are sounds all around, right? I mean, with all of that happening, how the heck are you supposed to relax into it?
Exactly.
Right? So then could you notice that? Notice that wanting or pushing away or anything that's related to being very self-conscious. Okay? Notice that. Notice what is it that you're telling yourself. And notice also in your body, what is your direct experience with what being self-conscious looks like. Come back to your body. There was a lot of head stuff around there's a me, there's a them. That's a lot of more judgment. But what does self-consciousness feel like in your body?
feels like
So,
a weight. It feels really heavy.
okay, notice that heaviness. What else is there? Notice that heaviness.
Kind of a racing heart.
Notice some more. What else?
My face is tense.
Mm-hmm. Notice some more. You are looking at yourself there. You are looking at them, looking at you. There's a camera. There's all of that. What does that bring up in your body around feeling so self-conscious? There's a heaviness. There's my heart is racing. My face feels tense. What else is your direct experience with being self-conscious?
I just don't want to be there. I want to run away. I want it to be over as fast as possible. I don't enjoy it.
Notice how that is a head thing. Notice how this is when we talk about, releasing. A lot of us release from the neck up, drop back down. That's a thought. Okay, it's fine, but just notice that's a thought. The thought that came up when you experience self-consciousness is that I don't want to be here. Okay, so connect with that thought, and then connect with any other stories that need to come up around this experience of being self-conscious. Okay. What else is here around your experience of feeling self-conscious?
I don't know, just in my body, there's kind of a, aside from the heaviness, there's probably a lack of feeling, actually.
Lack of feeling.
Yeah,
Okay.
it feels kind of numb.
Okay. Numb. Okay, numb. Could we go with that? Is that numbness welcomed here?
Well, I notice it.
Okay, as you notice it, notice it some more then. And what does that numbness really feel like? What are the sensations around it? And if you're a visual person, then what are some of the visual cues that define the experience of feeling numb for you?
I don't know if I have the words.
That's okay. It's an experiential thing. Again, you love using words, you love to storytell. So it's okay. Could you allow yourself to have this experience and just notice the sensation? Notice that numbness experientially. Drop into the sensation. And then notice them some more. And if you could look through the numbness, just take a moment. Just allow yourself to experience the numbness or whatever feeling or whatever sensation that is present for the rest of you, or if yours has changed. Feel it, notice it, be with it. And then if you could allow yourself the incredible power of being able to see through that or to feel through it, go ahead and just look at that sensation or feel the sensation. Look through it, feel through it. What is there? Okay. And even more. You have the power now to look through things, to see through things, to feel through things. See if you can find the space that makes up the dense city, that makes up everything. See if you can just break through that. What is there? And for some of us, it's just a momentary break into that space, into the openness. For some of us, you're all like, boom, into the sea of just beingness now. I can feel some of you are just like, I don't know, you might be spending the rest of the day just, that's okay too. Okay? Wherever you are with that spaciousness, whatever that experience of spaciousness is with you, just notice it. Could you welcome it? And could that be enough? Could you allow yourself to rest as that? Even if it's just a sliver into the space, could you allow yourself to rest as that? For those of you who are no longer in your bodies and have completely dissolved in the beingness, know that you can rest as that. And it's okay to come back to the body to do whatever that we need to be doing. It's within you. All that space, that beauty, the floatiness, it's in you. Okay? You are the stars. You are the universe. You are the love. You are the successful actor showing up, even if it means that there's self-consciousness that shows up. You are the doer. You are the beingness. You are the anger, and you are the love. You are all of that. You are me, and I am you. You are me, and I am you. And we are no one. All right. How are you feeling, Marie, and everybody else? We've come to the 1 hour time.
I feel great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I want to finish off by asking you if you would allow yourself to show up as a successful person who gets that role that you're going for.
Thank you.
Yeah. And everybody else, have a wonderful as it can be, and reach out if there's anything I can help you with. I'm available on WhatsApp. I really appreciate you all showing up. I appreciate the space that you've been filling, and I really appreciate the openness that our group created today. Really, really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Wai. And I
Thank
want to
you.
point out to anybody watching the video, there's a link below to contact Wai if you need to. So
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, you're very
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Happy New Year.